I don't like how much work I have to put into this strategy when I could put less work into another, or
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Maybe I want to just switch it up so that way I have more time freedom, or I want to be more involved. You can then choose at that point, but dive in. Hey, welcome to Uncommon State of Mind, where we debate different ways to leverage your next investment to create time freedom, legacy impact, and generational wealth so that you can live that uncommon life. But in order to do that, you must be uncommon. My name is Joey, a.k.a. Mr. J. Mays.
And I'm A.D., also known as A.D., the Fly Realtor.
Yes. So today is interesting. We just wanted to bring something up that A.D. kind of caught on the social.
Yeah, man. It was made by Richard Garcia Official. He's a popular real estate investor on Instagram. At least that's where I know him from. But he made this list that we want to get into a little bit today. And so the list pretty much, it says social media be like. And what he does is he lists off a bunch of, quotes from other notable people in the entrepreneur investing space. And a lot of them contradict each other. A lot of them could be slightly confusing. And I guess the overall tone or the sense, his whole point was that because of that, it's hard to know who to listen to or who to trust, is his real overall point. So let's just get into it real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one is from Grant Cardone. He's everybody's favorite. Don't buy a house. But then the very next one is from a man named Chris Crone, another, social media personality. His says, buy a house. So, I mean, these are two guys who a lot of people probably follow both of them. So it's like, when you say that, who do you listen to? So
Right.
What do you think? When they say house, I'm almost positive they're talking about a single family home for yourself, owner occupied single family home. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's here's the thing. Like, I don't have enough context to really even give an opinion on that. But I can see what you're saying. Going down this list, there's a lot of things that contradict each other. There's a lot of contradictory information that each of these notable influencers in our space have, kind of come up with, right? So if you go down the list, that, use FHA loan, don't use a FHA loan. A house is a liability, a house is an asset. You know what I'm saying? There's you want to start with 32 units, you only want to start with 2 units. Like, there's a lot of things in there that'll have you questioning, like, oh, damn, like, what the heck is everybody talking about? But what's funny is, and what I talked to AD about when he brought this list to my attention was, like, none of these things are wrong. Like, none of these approaches are wrong. If anything, it just proves that there's a lot of different ways that you can make money in real estate. You know what I mean? That, doesn't necessarily mean you have to, one is right or wrong. It means there's just so many ways that you can skin the cat. You know what I mean? So,
Right. No, for real. Richard Garcia, a smart guy, but, I kind of feel like he was being, sort of pessimistic about it, saying like, oh, because so many people say different things, it's hard to trust anybody, or it's hard to know what direction to go in or what you should do first or do next. But like you said, I think it's really a positive thing that, like, this guy could say don't buy a home, this guy could say to buy a home, and they could both be right. You know what I mean? Like, more important than anything, I think it's incumbent on you to figure out, which of these strategies do I want to dive into first? And, probably keep an open mind even when you get into that first strategy, because maybe you're going to figure out that that's not the route for you, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't invest at all. It just means that maybe that wasn't for you. Maybe long-term rentals weren't your thing. Maybe short-term rentals were, or maybe single-family houses weren't your thing. Maybe you need to be buying 50-unit properties, So it's really just a matter of figuring out, like, okay, which person or personality or whatever it may be, like, what are they saying? Who do I vibe with? And which one seems like it fits me?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you 100%. Like I said, any of these like statements can be true. Any of them can be true, especially coming from the people that they're coming from. All of them being notable and successful in the market.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as AD said, you just gotta be like, all right, which one am I gonna choose? And then you gotta dive in. You know what I'm saying? Don't have that shiny object. Well, not to contradict what AD said, but like if you're gonna dive in, dive all the way in with what you're doing before you decide to like completely abandon.
Right, flip the script.
You know what I'm saying? Like dive in, and once you're in the investment and you're doing it the right way and making money, if at that time you're like, okay, I want to sell this business and I want to get into a new strategy, for sure do so. You know what I'm saying? But make sure that what you've been doing is successful. In my opinion, of course, do as you please, but in my opinion, do it to the best of your ability. Do it with the help of mentors, and make it successful. And if at that point you're like, I don't like how much work I have to put into this strategy when I could put less work into another, or
right,
you know what I'm saying? Maybe I want to just switch it up so that way I have more time freedom, or I want to be more involved. You can then choose at that point, but dive in. You know what I'm saying?
And also too, what you said, it just like made the light bulb go off, where sometimes you might get into it with one strategy that you do like, but as you grow or as you progress or advance, you morph into a different strategy just for the mere fact that you're getting bigger at something, So for example, like I'm looking at one of these says Grant Cardone start with 32 units, but then Richard Garcia start with 2 units. So I think both of those are right, because, all right, let's say you're somebody who starts with 32 units. There's a good chance, even a good chance, unless you have extensive background in property management, you're not going to manage 32 units your first time buying a property. You're going to hire property management. You know what I mean? Which means you may not get into the learning about managing as quickly. Whereas if you start with 2 units, even if you have a property manager, you're probably going to be a lot more involved in what's going on with those 2 units, because it's your only 2 units. So you can start with 2 units and start small and just, learn more. Maybe your next property, buy a 4-plex, then buy another 4-plex. And then after that, you get into a commercial deal, 10 units. You know what I mean? But each time you're incrementally learning more and more.
Yeah.
Or like I said, if you're starting with a big property, you're hiring professionals right out the gate. And you may not even want to know as much. So pretty much my whole point is that 2 different people will look at those 2 things 2 different ways. Yeah. Some people want to get into something and they want to be able to know how it works inside and out. Other people are like, look, I'm just trying to get a return on my money. So, it doesn't mean that one guy is right, one guy is wrong. Like, one guy did what worked for him and flourished. The other guy did what worked for him and he flourished.
Right.
So, it doesn't have to be a matter of like any real estate beef.
Exactly. So if you look at it, and that's the thing, if you look at it like with the scope, with the lens, way out, and you're just looking at all of these strategies, you're like, I don't even want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to go to. No, but like I said, once you're able to just do a little bit of research into each of them and figure out which one, you feel like vibes best with you, then you're like, okay, well, I think like, maybe I want to go ahead and be like, I don't know, get a 5-plex right now, or get a 4-plex right now, or I want to invest in Airbnb right now, or whatever you want to do. Which is just a couple of things that are on the list. Like, if you've done the research and you feel like this investment, is right for you, dive in, bro, and don't be scared.
No, for real, because like even another one, Dave Ramsey, buy with 100% cash. Grant Cardone, always use debt. So it's like, okay, well, maybe some people would like to, use themselves as the test first. Yeah. Instead of me pulling out any leverage, instead of me borrowing money from banks or from, private lenders, anything like that, maybe let me at least go buy property first so that I could see how to do this. Right. You might be a 100% cash person, But then also you might be like, no, I kind of have a good idea of how credit works, and I'm really looking to hit the ground running. You might be someone who's like, I need to tap into OPM, other people's money. I need to tap into that right away so that I can grow as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So, different strokes for different folks. Don't be too stuck on what somebody else is saying. And it doesn't, a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, they kind of bash Dave Ramsey, because a lot of the stuff he says, for lack of a better term, it can kind of keep you playing small if you stay at that level. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff he says that is very, very smart and very, very true. And for most people, they need to be able to take what he says and apply it to their life so that they can enrich themselves. So does that mean I just shouldn't listen to what he said at all? Or does that mean that maybe what he said is right for a certain period in my life?
Right.
Or at a certain level of my life.
Right.
So...
Yeah. So 100% I agree with that. I'm always going to say use credit.
Exactly. But there's somebody else right now saying like, what? Use credit? I'm trying to use as little credit as possible.
Yeah. Only because I have a little bit more knowledge in credit. So I'm always going to be like 100% money.
Exactly.
Like, what the hell?
But then there's some people who the idea of borrowing money, it keeps them awake at
night. Makes them, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like, okay, maybe you do need to buy property 100% cash, which, I'm not saying I advise that. I don't think that makes any sense, but hey, do what you got to do.
Yeah. So anyways, we just want to bring that to your attention that if you're looking at the entirety of just real estate investing and investing in general, and you're seeing all of these contradictions and you don't know where to go, chill out.
Exactly.
Chill out. Just go look into a strategy that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Do your research, and after you do your research, or even look into all of them, do your research and be like, okay, I don't like this, I do like this, and then find the mentors and find the community that's going to support you on that journey.
Right.
So
exactly. Assess, ask a lot of questions. Even if you don't have a specific person to ask questions to, ask yourself certain questions. You know what I mean? Ask yourself questions that could debunk an idea that you already have in your head, because that's how you really find out how fortified a plan is, by, when you can ask yourself questions to pretty much kill that idea, but then you also have solutions to those questions. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just be in it to win it, be ready to, go for it, and don't be stuck to thinking that there's only one way to success, because as this list will show you, there's a lot of ways to success.
Right. Hey guys, and A.D. got our beat for the day.
All right, the beat for today is going to be introspective. And by that, what I'm trying to say is that really look inward, figure out what kind of investor, what kind of person you are, because that can help you answer certain questions that can lead you to what investment style works best for you, or maybe you can get a good idea of where you would like to start out as an investor or owner operator, whatever it may be.
100%. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, what you said, is just understanding the investor that you are, understanding your investor ID. Like, do I want to be super hands-on? Do I want to be hands-off? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's going to answer a lot of questions. Do I want to use a lot of my own cash? Do I want to use other people's money? You know what I'm saying? Answering these questions, understanding your investor ID is going to pretty much eliminate a lot of these strategies for you, and you'll come to your own conclusion on what investment fits best for you. So as A.D. said, be introspective, be you, and be uncommon. Stay up.